Friends, very good morning to everyone. Today, let us deal with Skraup Doebner 1 Miller reaction. What is this Skraup Doebner 1 Miller reaction? Skraup is a Czech Australian chemist. He discovered Skraup reaction. This was the first report for the quinoline synthesis in the history of organic chemistry. He earned his PhD from University of Gießen in the year 1875. Wilhelm von Miller is a Dutch chemist and he is also a doctorate in organic chemistry. Doebner is another Dutch chemist. He studied at Vienna. Later, in the year 1887, he moved to Munich to read organic chemistry under Professor von Müller. After his doctorate, he continued as an assistant to von Miller. Later on, he accepted a similar position with physicist Professor Kuhn in Berlin. Skraup, Doebner, and von Miller. These three scientists together worked to give the synthesis for the quinoline. That's why this reaction is named after them as Skraup-Doebner von Miller reaction. What is this Skraup-Doebner von Miller reaction? This is an organic reaction in which an aniline reacts with alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound to form quinolines. Alpha beta unsaturated compounds, if it is prepared in situ by aldol condensation of two carbonyl compounds, then it is named as Bayer's method for quinoline synthesis. Aniline here reacts with alpha beta unsaturated ketone in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. It cyclizes to give rise to quinoline. This is the reaction which is involved in Skraup-Doebner von Miller synthesis. Let us look into the mechanism of the reaction. How the reaction occurs. Aniline amino group has lone pair of electrons and there is alpha beta unsaturated ketone. The oxygen is electronegative in nature and the oxygen gets protonated by the sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid as an acid is a proton donor. Protonation of the oxygen takes place and as it gets protonated, oxygen become trivalent and thus it become electron deficient. To satisfy this electron deficiency, pi electrons moves onto the oxygen. When this electrons moves, the carbon which is adjacent to this oxygen gets electron deficiency. To satisfy this electron deficiency of the carbon, the pi electrons which is adjacent to it moves, creating a positive center at the position from which the electrons have moved. This is electron rich as it has a lone pair of electrons on the amino group of the aniline, and this is electron deficient, and we know that unlike poles attract each other. The lone pair of electrons are donated onto this carbon and the bond between the carbon and nitrogen occurs. The reaction do not stop over here. The pi electrons moves to the carbon and forms a double bond and these pi electrons attack on the carbonyl carbon and cyclization occurs. It has to maintain its aromaticity. Carbon hydrogen bond breaks. It forms double bond in the adjacent carbon, and the pi electrons here moves onto the nitrogen to satisfy the positivity of nitrogen. Further, dehydration occurs. The lone pair of electrons on the nitrogen forms bond, and the pi electrons moves to the next position as the carbon has to maintain its tetravalency, and OH moves away along with its lone pair and combines with H plus and loses water molecule. This undergo aromatization to give quinoline. This is the first synthetic route given for the preparation of quinoline. That's why it is named after Doebner, Von Miller, and Skraup who gave this reaction. Next class, we can deal with other reactions. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.